Hello everyone, welcome back to Rose of Green. I hope you are all doing well. I'm glad to see you guys made it back. A couple things I just want to get out of the way here is because of all the crazy scammers and stuff down in the comment section, I have decided that for now I'm probably going to be moving my giveaways to my Discord. So go down below, find the link for the Discord, and join my Discord. Because that's where I'm going to be doing most of my giveaways. Right now, someone tried to hack my Instagram, so I gotta wait like 24 hours until we get that all figured out. So yeah, so the giveaways for now are gonna be on Discord until we get YouTube figured out. So go check that out. I'm sorry if you don't know how to get to Discord and all of that, guys, but like it's too crazy, man. There's too many people getting ripped off. It's causing a lot of stress on me. I get hundreds of messages, like hundreds of them, of people thinking they won, and I don't understand how people are still falling for it, but there are people new to computers and stuff, so I do understand that. But it's stressful for a lot of us, not just me, but for the person who thinks they won. So doing it to Discord, with that out of the way. Another thing, what else did I want to touch on? So one quick, one other thing I wanted to say is there's 3 dots up in the corner of your video. Go there, you'll see, once you click that, you'll see quality. Go to quality, click quality, and you could choose 4K or 10K. This video I'm probably going to do in 1080, but most of all my other videos are all 4K, so you could just choose there, just to let you know, because I did get a couple comments saying the quality wasn't all that good, and once I told them, hey, you're probably watching it on 240, they got back to me and said, that's exactly what happened. So once they fix that, they're good to go. So I just wanted to take a quick break from the video and just show you guys the Mars Hydro FC 6500, and this is the sponsor of this video. You can find these at the links below down in the description, and you can use my code Rose of Green to save. I don't want to babble too much here, so here are some of the questions that I've gotten from people. Okay, Tim Risset says, I can't get a good yield. I mean, I could grow all right, decent bud, but I am using Dr. Earth. My plants have small buds and less than a pound with 4 plants in a 4x4. So basically what he's saying is that he uses Dr. Earth. He doesn't know why he can't get better growth. He wants a better yield. And so we're going to answer that question for him and help him out. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to read off the other questions, because I'm going to go through everything at once. So Lincoln Lost says, what is the best way to get the most yield? I'm using GH to feed and FCE 6500. Okay, so I'll answer that as well. Should I keep feeding my plants 2 weeks before harvest, or should I flush? I've been getting mixed information. So let's go on, and we're going to answer that too. Okay, so what I do to get a bigger yield or bigger growth, or what is proven to work. Not all of this is, but some of it is. Well, most of it is for me anyway. If you have something you want to add, drop it down in the comments, guys, because you're not only helping me with the algorithm, but you're helping other people know how to grow. So if you're a little bit more experienced, don't be afraid to help people out. So that's also what the Discord's all about. So check out the Discord. Anyway, bigger pots, okay? If you're in soil, you're growing living soil. This one's more or less for Tim Risset, who said he can't get a good yield. He's using Dr. Earth. So what you want to do here is you want bigger pots. I'm not sure what size pots you're using, but the more roots, the more fruits, okay? So that could be one of your problems with growing with organics. I prefer a 7-gallon pot with organics, so that could be your problem. Another thing could be genetics, but for the most part, it's probably your pot size, so just look into that. But yeah. Anyway, another way to get a good yield is scrog, like doing a scrog, screen of green. you will get an excellent yield doing that. I can guarantee you'll pull like 2 pounds out of a 2x4 like nothing. This isn't just directed at you, it's directed to everyone. And the same thing goes for a sea of green. You could get a very good yield doing a sea of green. If that's all that you're about is yield, those two things will help you, okay? Another thing to help with a better yield would be proper environment. So when I say proper environment, I don't mean that you need to have your VPD bang on, okay? A proper environment to me, okay, would be in bloom, week 1 to 3, somewhere around maybe 27, 28 degrees Celsius. After week 3, I drop that down to about 25 degrees Celsius and let it go. That helps out with the density of the buds and just better growth and things like that. So 25 degrees Celsius, relative humidity of 50. Make sure that you're always getting good airflow, and you'll be fine. And that brings me to my next one. Other than proper environment, airflow. Airflow is another one. You want good airflow. You want wind blowing in around your buds and all of that. You want them to feel like open, like they have an open space and a space to grow. If your plants are all crammed together and all that in a small space, they're not going to grow as well. Like you really need to keep an eye on what you're doing there. You don't want to overcram a space. So again, airflow really helps. It helps with yield. So another thing is training. So training is a big one for yield, okay? You can top your plant once, grow it out, and you'll get a decent yield. But if you want to get right into it, you could do some do a topping. You could even do another topping. But once you start to get too many leaves and stuff, do a defoliation. Help those bud sites and branches grow more. The more those grow, the more bud you're gonna get. So equals a bigger yield, right? So another thing would be lollipopping. Lollipopping before flower. Getting rid of all those small branches and leaves and all that stuff on the bottom of your plant before you go to flower. It's really gonna help you put the energy that would have grew there into your buds. So as long as your buds are getting proper lighting, you will be good to go there. So another thing would be super cropping. You could super crop your branches so they're on a 90, and then you'll expose more bud sites before you flip it to flower. So that's another good way to increase your yield is super cropping. You get more branching coming out, and your buds will get direct light. Your canopy will be nice and even, and yeah. So then another thing, like I already mentioned, is a SOG or a scrog. That comes into training, so that would give you a very good yield. Now, for something that someone might want for a quick fix, okay? So for better yields would be fertilizers and additives, okay? So fertilizers for like salts and synthetics and stuff, you'll get a bloom feed or a PK boost. Those work really well. Be sure you're going with like a reputable company so that you're not buying water or just buying garbage. But there's a lot of good PK boosters out there. You'll see like it'll be 1-15-20 or 1-20-15. That'd be a PK booster, or just whatever kit you have, you will have some sort of booster with that. But if you're growing with organics, you would want to use something, maybe do a top dress with some back guano or something that's high in phosphorus. What I do is I like to add in some kelp. It really works good. So I use kelp as my PK boost, and I will add in a little bit of bone meal as well. Another thing that I really love is bioavailable silica, okay? The silica needs to be bioavailable to get quick results. If not, normal silica powder that you put in, that takes a month to break down and start working and getting into your plants. If you get something like Power SI, okay, I'm not sponsored by Power SI, but Power SI, I have literally seen an increase in yield once I started using that stuff like 2 years ago. So that's bioavailable. It's immediately available to the plants. It's silica, and it helps with a lot of other things too. So you use it as a foliar spray to help keep away powdery mildew and everything else. So I don't use it for that. All I use it for is my silica source. So Another one would be kelp. Kelp, I kind of mentioned that a little bit, but I will use that as a booster because it's not so much a kelp meal that I'll use or a kelp flour, but a kelp extract. And kelp extracts are usually around, it'll probably be like a 15 or something. It'll be really high in potassium, and that's why I like it, because not only that, kelp has that natural PGR in it, okay? And that brings me on to the next one, okay? So unnatural and natural PGRs, okay? So an unnatural PGR is something like Paclo. It's like a weed killer or a fungicide or something. You don't want to use that, guys. You don't want to be smoking that. You don't want anybody you know to be smoking that stuff. It's really frowned upon and even illegal to use. So Paclo is definitely something dirty. If you want to use like a natural PGR, try out kelp, because that's what it has in it. It has natural PGRs in it. They'll really help you out in your growth. I do also see a difference when I use kelp, but be careful with kelp, because using kelp late in flower really heavily, it could loosen up your buds a little bit. So if you're a hash washer and that's what you're looking for, then excellent, because it will boost your yield but make it a little more fluffier, so it's a heck of a lot easier to wash if you're making bubble hash or something. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Another one is CO2, okay? So if your light intensity is dialed in, okay, if your humidity is dialed in, if your temperature is dialed in, your VPD is dialed in, if you know what you're doing is dialed in, that's when you add CO2. If you're a beginner, don't bother, okay? Because you need to dial in everything else before you see the effects of CO2. So CO2 will give you a way better yield. Lights at 14 ppfd. Maybe bring up your CO2 to around 1350, 1200 parts per million. ppm, I'm sorry, I think I said ppfd earlier, but ppm. So yeah, CO2 could really be helpful if you know what you're doing and you know how to use it. Sure, yes, you can get away with it if you are a beginner. It could be a little beneficial to you, but I'm telling you this so that you save your money. Because if you're new, you'll want to dial everything else in before you start spending money on stuff pointless like CO2. Okay? Don't flush early, okay? This is my opinion on things, okay? My whole life I grew like this. If I have a 9-week strain, what I would have done is at about 7 weeks, I wanted to flush, okay? Like I wanted to flush the plants out so I had a bunch of runoff and stuff. But I would have just backed off on my nutrient feed a little bit and just kept growing it like that. So there were times maybe if I had a root problem or something bad going on where I would flush, but for the most part I would just back off. And then the whole last week I wouldn't use fertilizers at all. So now that the science is out, they're saying that there is no difference if you feed right to the end or if you flush. You could believe that or not believe it, take it however you want, but what I will tell you is if you got a 9-week strain, you really should be feeding right up to week 9. And then that 9th week, let that be your flush. If you want to do a flush, do a crazy flush on day 1, and then you'll be able to give it another drink of water like in a couple days or whatever. But I would just wait until 1 week not to do it if I were you. So that's about all I have to say on that.
But wait, there's more!
I'm really a big believer on feeding your plants what they want. Like in week 6, your plants are just starting to bulk. If you cut them off on nutrients, they don't have the nutrients to bulk. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say there. They're still bulking through week 6 and week 7. So to cut them off on week 6 to get a 2-week flush, it's just crazy to me. So anyway, now that you know my sights on that, we'll get on to the next one. The next one is be sure that you're vegging your plants long enough for the size of the pod that you have. if you have a 7-gallon pot, you don't want to only veg your plant for 3 weeks. Get a 3-gallon pot if you're gonna do that, or a 5-gallon pot, or do a sea of green or something. If you have a 7-gallon pot, you should probably go at least 5 weeks. I would say 5 weeks, and then you'll get a decent yield. If you do at least a 5-week veg, you'll get a decent yield out of there. With 4 plants, this goes to a buddy who asked me the question at the beginning. With your 4 plants, how you're saying you're pulling less than a pound, use 7-gallon pots. Put the doctor's earth to it. Do what you were doing. Use the bigger pot, and now get back to me in a few months and let me know how that worked, because I got a feeling that's what your issue was. Anyway, guys, I want to say thank you for watching this video. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Like I said, if you want to become a member, go ahead. I'm not going to be changing this channel. I might have one video every couple months that might be monetized, but I'm going to be showing my plants on this channel. So just to let you guys know, I get no income whatsoever from YouTube. So donations and memberships and stuff is welcome. Not obligated, but it is welcome. We will see you guys next week's video. I hope you guys all have an awesome weekend. Spring is here. Happy. You got the happiness going on. So, like I said, we'll see you in the next weekend. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave that comment down below, people. Let me know if I missed anything, because I'm sure I did. And peace out.